But here we are with a Division 2. We've got 13 cars on the grid for this race. And we are expecting an absolute cracker. We've only got 4 minutes of qualifying to go to sort the men from the boys and decide what the starting order will be for this event. Sorry if I sound like I'm speaking in different little tones. I'm trying to sort out my ACC so I can see what's going on. Currently, at the moment, it's not working out for me.
Yeah, it is the case. But good evening and welcome, everybody. And like my friend Mr. Carl told us, now we are back. Let's hope that this stream runs a little bit better than our first one. I think between our drivers had a little bit of a contact, and our stream and our lag and our servers and every little thing that could go wrong went wrong. But we're back now, and let's hope that this one runs a little bit smoother. 3 minutes to go for qualifying. I wonder who's going to take it. Warrick Stuart is Mr. Consistent himself. Tommy Leary is yearning to get back to Divisional 1, so I think he might be super fast tonight as well. Then we do have a couple of new drivers as well, so it's going to be, I think it's a very, very open field tonight here.
Yeah, look, I think, sorry, Charles, I actually didn't know you were going to be joining us. You did mention your headset was on its way out. But joining me in the commentary booth, Charles Randall. I'm one of the commentators tonight, Carl Lawrence, if I didn't introduce myself. But we're back to watching the racing, and we're on board. I'm on board now with Fimpy de Beer. 1 minute 26.5 is what he's done, but probably just an outlap. We're expecting times of in the 1 minute 11s or 12s, I would assume. The Division 1 guys running low 110s, almost 109s. But an interesting spread in the field. We've got Leary, who's going to be gagging to get himself back up into Division 1. So I think that's where I'm going to put my money, Shob.
Yeah, I think between Tommy Leary and Warrick, Warrick is also, he's been a very good driver. He's had a bit of in fact, he just had load shedding up to 10 minutes ago. So he's literally, after load shedding, just jumped right onto this and loaded in and racing. So I think we can give a little bit of that. I mean, I think Warrick will do quite well. And then we've got the ever so familiars guys. New driver. Carl, if you have a look at Wimpy de Beer, he's a new driver in the white skin. He's actually running 111.4s, and it's currently the fastest time out on track from a brand new driver who's the first timer in sim racing and VW Polo Cup. And then we've got in second place, has just jumped in, is Keon Gous, which is Melvin Gous' son. I see for some reason we don't have his skin as well, and he's sitting in second. And then we've got James Leach Senior, Mr. James Leach Senior in third. Ivan Karamarka is taking up in fourth. Nadia Peterson in fifth. And the top five is basically splitted by 0.4 of a second.
Yeah, that's one thing we did see in Division 1 as well, is how close the times are. But even in the IRL, in the real life, the Polo Cup cars do run incredibly close together on the circuit here at Zwartkops, mostly because it's only 2.8 Ks long, or 2.6 Ks long if I'm not mistaken. It's a very, very short circuit, so it does lend itself to very close times. But also the 111s we're seeing at the moment, we may see faster times in the race because they are allowed to use push to pass in the race, which they're not allowed to use here in qualifying.
Yeah, push to pass does make a big difference. That is one thing we actually haven't focused on in Divisional 1, and we don't know how the guys were getting along with their push to passes. But Carl, you just driven this track. Where would you use push to pass?
It's a difficult look. It depends whether you're defending or attacking. So, for me, if we have a look at De Beer coming out of turn 4 now, that would be for me to have a look for a pass. As you get on the power out of turn 4, hit the push to pass, and you can get a nice run up here into turn 5. However, turn 5, quite easy to defend, but then again, so is every corner around the track. So that would be attacking. But defending, definitely on the exit of turn 1 or turn 2, a push to pass is probably the best place. That's probably the best place to be used when defending another driver, because you can get a decent run out of turn 2. You can kind of keep yourself safe through 3, through 4, and up to 5. But again, the driver behind you could hit it coming out of 4 and create it. But going into overtime now, and with qualifying pretty much over, bar a few other guys that are still trying to finish laps, we have Willie de Beer on pole ahead of Peterson, Gous in third, but only 0.085 of a second separates our top 3, with Leary in fourth, Leach Senior down in fifth, Caremaker in sixth, Manuel in seventh, and Richard Slavin Jr. down in eighth. Sean rounds out your top, rounds out in 9th, with Michael Russ rounding out your top 10. Jonah Lee in 11th, and Warrick Stuart, I think that is done in 12th, ahead of Johan Niemand. So that is your qualifying done and dusted for this Division 2 Polo Cup Championship, brought to you by JP Hydraulics. We'll be heading into race 1 shortly. 15-minute race with plus 1 lap, I think that is, if I'm not mistaken, Sharp.
Yeah, it's 15 plus 2. Well, it depends on where you are. If you haven't crossed the line yet, it will be 0.2. If you already crossed the line, you'll have to finish that lap, and then you'll start your last lap. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Short track. I mean, we've only got 8, or not a short track, but I mean a short grid. We've only got a small grid. We've only got 13 drivers basically battling it out tonight. We saw that in Divisional 1, we had a lot of guys that unfortunately, it's just too many cars for this little track, to be honest with you. And there was a lot of accidents, but we can see the likes of Rowan Bauer, Maurizio Piccini, which is a firm regular, Piano Fenter, and then Jay de Villiers, who's actually Willem Moss and Nico Smith. Sorry, those are 6 drivers that's not joining us tonight. So yeah, we definitely have some guys probably load shedding or some IT issues like we had. But yeah, I see James Leach just posted in the stream, Lackavilli and Go Team Leach Racing. Carl, I know you heard these stories. We told it every race. These guys went to the bushveld and decided to take their rigs with them. So they were sitting under this moon and the stars sim racing, and you can't say more for commitment there.
No, lack of thing to do. You got to take your rigs out into the bush, pour yourself a couple of strong ones, and have a jaw there with under the night sky. It sounds like the best place to go sim racing, if you ask me. But yeah, you're talking about Division 1. There were a lot of drivers in the bush when they should have been on the circuit. So it was a very interesting race. I think it made for great spectator value. It was a bit frustrating for some of the drivers out there, but I'm sure that'll all be sorted out before the next one. But we did have a lot of new drivers that joined us, and maybe a little bit over eager to show their worth. These things do happen, unfortunately. But we're on the grid now and ready to start the first race here at in the Division 2, the JP Hydraulics Division 2 Polo Cup Championship.
That's it. We're going to count down now 40-odd seconds to go. We've got Wimpy de Beer, which made a remarkable drive to get himself into pole position. And then, we're going to have a really good battle for, I think, this, well, you call the second corner, that a bit of a long hairpin is going to make for some really interesting racing, Carl. I think if these guys can get clean through that, it should be a good race. Otherwise, there's going to be a little bit of a carnage there. But, let's have a look. We've got 3 Namibian drivers tonight on the grid, so it's nice to see them. And then 2 youngsters, Kion Gous is quite a youngster, and Richie Slamet. 5-6 lights to go. Kyle, let's take it out.
Yeah, lights are away and we are racing. Great start there from Wimpy, but the 2 rows behind him, Kian Gous and Tommy Leary all the way down the inside. He's going to move himself up from 4th to onto the front row as we look at James Lee Sr. running horribly wide there into turn 2. This is where we saw the mayhem in Division 1. Oh, quick turn in there from Tommy Leary, a little bit too early, and that has just caused a massive chain reaction, and there is a whole gaggle of cars trying to find their way out of turn 2.
Carly, just try and get your car off the grid. I'm not sure if you've already done that, but action now in the back straight. These guys are going on. Nathan Peterson made an exceptional break for it. He's into first position. Wimpy de Beer is settling in now in a second. Tommy Leary, like you mentioned, he's sitting in 3rd. This is his favorite position. Tommy always finds himself quick and early in the race.
Oh, big stance in the background.
What is that? Oh, look at this. Huge fight here, like you mentioned.
Jonah Lee, unfortunately, getting tangled out of turn 2 into turn 3, and has unfortunately dropped well down the order. But there is fighting throughout this field. Great racing from all these drivers, but Leary looking like the driver with the most to attack with, and definitely with a bit of pace there over Wimpy de Beer. But Wimpy de Beer dropping down to 2nd. We know he's got the pace to run in the front. So let's see if he can close that gap down to Peterson and make this a 3-way battle for the lead.
Yeah, Tommy Leary is definitely going to chase him down as well. He's not going to let Wimpy de Beer as a newcomer settling him out. And, this is where the real skill comes in. It's not just chasing a guy down and diving on the inside. It's actually defending your position from Tommy Leary while you're racing Nadia Peterson. that is where it takes a little bit of a skill as he's going through. Gous doing exceptionally well for a youngster as well, sitting in 4th position. Ivan Karamoka had a brilliant start. He's in 5th. Yassine Manuel, so nice to see Yassine back on track. This guy's also a really good driver. Sean is a new driver. I haven't actually seen Sean before, so I'm not sure what is his real name, but he's a new driver. Warrick Stuart is sitting in 8th position, a little bit battling, and I think it is those weights. He is the heaviest car out tonight with all those pointing systems and that. And then Michael Russ from Volvo Namibia, he's settling in 9th. Remember the week before, Michael had an exceptional run in this car, and he did very good. And then our youngest driver is, we've got a couple of drivers here. Our youngest driver is Richie Slamet, 15 years old from Namibia. Only female driver, Joni Lee from Cape Town.
Sorry, I got to interrupt you there. Wimpy de Beer and Tommy Leary are going at it hammer and tongs here for 2nd place on the grid, or in the race, sorry. And Wimpy de Beer just losing out there to Tommy Leary, and that's allowed Gous to go run around the outside of him and exit into turn 2, and he's going to pick up 3rd place from Wimpy. So Wimpy, starting on the front row of the grid, dropped himself all the way down to 4th. So Leach Racing doing a great job there to get that car on the pace. But unfortunately, the race pace isn't quite there for Wimpy de Beer, and he's dropped himself all the way down to 4th. All the meanwhile, though, he is still in this race. Peterson has moved himself quite a big gap up into the lead, and keeping the pace up there, and looking like he may run away with this.
Almost 2 seconds now to gap to Tommy Leary. Tommy will probably give him a bit of a run for money. If you give this guy a bit of a free air, he likes to run away with it. But yes, like you said, we've got a big battle at the back. Look at this. Between Ivan Karamoka, Yassine Manuel, and Sean, there's a little bit of a battle brewing. And in fact, I think battle for 4th will go back all the way to 7th position even now.
Yeah, racing going on all the way through this field. Unfortunately, Richard Slamet Jr. just well off that battle. Michael Rust as well. Still trying to come to terms with these Polo Cup cars. They are difficult to drive, as we see the smoke coming from the wheel spin out of turn 2. And unfortunately, Warrick Stewart, trying his utmost to hang in there, is struggling as he may to keep up with that of Sean, no name, last name.
It's no name, last name, first name. I think it's probably a first name, but yeah, it's nice to see him also out on track. But Sean is giving Yassine Manuel a little bit of a stick there. I mean, if they're going into the braking zone, I wonder if he's going to dive on the inside as they go through this cornering. And Warrick Stewart he's looking to close the gap as well. This JP Hydraulics VW Polo is very heavy. I think he's running almost close to 90 or 100 kilos. Actually on the whole teams or the whole pack. So yeah, that makes this car, Carl, I think you're also running quite about 90 kilos. It does make changes this car dramatically.
That makes it very difficult to drive any car with ballast in it. But having a look at Gous, he's made a couple of mistakes, but Wimpy de Beer, he ain't wimping out of this one. He's gone and done the fastest lap of the race, 1:11.9, and closed that gap on Keen. So it's going to be an interesting race for the rest of these 9 minutes and 47 seconds, as Sean taking all of the curb he can to try and get past Yazim, and unfortunately lost a lot of time on Yazim there just in front of him. But I definitely think the race is on here between Wimpy de Beer, Gous, and Tommy Leary. It's not over yet with 9 minutes left to go.
Yeah, it's nice to see. I just saw now that Johan Niemand, after that big accident, and James Leach Sr. has actually gone to the pit, sorted their cars out, and they're back on track. So even if they're 1 or 2 laps down, they are still racing. And I mean, that is the right way to do it. Rather just finish the race than what you just call it a quit. So it's nice to see another Team Leach Racing member out on track tonight. But yeah, Nadia Peterson, he was 2 laps ago, he was 2 seconds in the lead, and now Tommy Leary is closing him down to 1.7. Both of them has got 4 push to passes left, so none of them has used it, which might, I think Nadia is keeping it. Look at Keon, just fastest lap, 1:11.5. So he's also turning on to Wimpy and saying, you're catching me, I'm going to extend this gap a bit.
Yeah, what was interesting there is Nathia Peterson came across with a 1:11.8.
Contact, second turn. Sorry, we've got Yassine Manuel and Sean that had a huge contact. That spun Yassine right at full 360 about, and that took him out really bad. And then Warrick Stuart was also in the back there, being taken out. So yeah, little bit of a huge contact at the back between Sean Manuel and Warrick Stuart.
Yeah, I think Warrick was just an innocent bystander in that, but Yassim obviously read the manual on how to control his car, because he kept it there out of that contact in turn 2 and still managed to remain within contact of Ivan Caremaker for that 5th place. But as I was saying before, it's Peterson, Leary, Gous and De Beer are the only 4 drivers on the circuit in the 111s, and they are only 0.1 away from each other. Kian Gous made a massive mistake out of the final turn, and that's allowed Wimpy De Beer right onto the back of him. And Kian 112.2 that last lap. That's not what he needs to be doing when he's got Wimpy De Beer sitting in the 11s right behind him.
No, I don't think he can breathe a little bit. And if I have to call it, I think his dad, Melvin Gous, is sitting, or not, he's standing right behind him, hands on the rig, and trying to play pit crew for his son and saying to him where Wimpy De Beer is currently. So yeah, there is definitely a battle brewing. As you can see, these guys almost 120, 130 k's an hour going through turn 3 onto Zwartkops. And how nice it is to race another local track.
It's absolutely insane. I was on the circuit in the real life on Wednesday. We were doing some filming with the Formula V Association, and I got to do a few laps in the Formula V around here the other day, and it's amazing how close they were able to get the circuit to the real life, all the way down to the Kenwood signage on the outside of turn 5. But unfortunately, they made the track a little bit too real. I've never been good in a front-wheel drive car around here, and I wasn't that great tonight. So, but kudos to, I think it was Peter Grobler that designed the circuit. A great job from him to get it as real as possible. But up in the front, Tommy Leary struggling to close that gap. It's still 1.6 to Nathia Peterson. But the battle continues between Kian Gous and Wimpy De Beer. We know Wimpy's quick, but it's interesting to note how many push to passes these drivers still have. On my screen, it shows 2 apiece for the front 4. So they all evenly matched when it comes to that. And it'll be interesting to see what happens now with just under 6 minutes to go. And if these gaps can close down and give us a bit of a race in the final stages.
I think Nadia Peterson made a bit of a mistake, because Tommy Leary was just under 1 second on him, and he's again there 0.9 seconds onto Nadia Peterson. So Tommy is catching, I think, as he's using a bit of fuel, he's becoming faster and faster. And then big battle still between Kian and Wimpy. Sorry, Wimpy is first-time driver, and he's putting tremendous pressure onto Kian. And Kian's only his 3rd race with us, so he himself is a youngster, and he's normally an Xbox player, and he just jumped on his dad's rig 2 weeks ago, and I won't say it to his dad, but he's better than his dad.
Well, like they say, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. But Tommy was leering on the back end of Nathia Peterson, but that gap has increased back to a second. Then a mistake into turn 2 from Nathia, and it's back down to 0.9. So all these gaps are closing dramatically in the final stage of this race. But it's interesting to see, even a mistake in a turn 2, if you get on the power early enough, you can still get the drive down into turn 4, through 3 into 4. So, but the gap is still hanging around that 1 second at the moment, and it's been like that for the majority of this race. The speed trap at the moment, 176 k's an hour at the entrance of turn 4. So these guys doing some massive speeds around here. But Kian Gous and Wimpy De Beer are looking racy. As I say that, commentator's curse. Wimpy De Beer grabbing way too much curb on the entrance of turn 5 and losing a lot of time on Kian. But Kian definitely closing that gap to Leary. It's down to 0.4 of a second, and he still has 2 push to passes left. Nathia, though, only 1 left to go, with 4 minutes left to go in this race.
That's it. We had a lacquer battle at the 8th here between Michael Russ and Richie Slamet Jr. And we had actually a beautiful pass here on Michael Russ from Richie that we saw a little bit earlier, as Michael made a slight mistake. But Thank you to Caitlin. Just pointing out, Richie Slammer Jr. has had his birthday today, so I think I may have to correct myself by saying he's no longer 15. He should be 16 soon, or today. So, yeah, well, happy birthday to you, young man, and it's nice to see you here, and also to his dad and his family. Thanks for keeping racing alive in Namibia and supporting your kids and your fellow racers. It's always, we do need sponsorships in any racing format, so thanks for that. But back to the front, let's have a look. Huge action. Tommy Leary, Gous and De Beer onto it, and actually Gous is now bumper to bumper on Tommy Leary. He's putting a little bit of paint on that
he got a
job.
great exit there.
Yeah, these guys are fast. Sometimes you just want to stop talking, just look at this action, because you start chewing your own nails. It's not good for me.
No, it's great racing action here between the front three. All the while Tommy Leary is defending on that of Ken Gous, he's closing the gap on Thea Peterson as well. So we may see a three-way battle for the lead. And if they do start battling, Wimpy De Beer is going to be right in there to pick up the pieces. But as I say, we may see a three-way battle. That gap has closed down to naught between Tommy Leary and Thea Peterson. Tommy Leary using a push to pass there to get onto the back of him. You can see the gap grow between himself and Ken Gous as they head out of turn 2. I did say that'd be a good place to hit the button when he needed to hit it. But another person hitting the button is Wimpy De Beer, but Nathia making a mistake, and that's allowed Tommy Leary the inside going up into turn 5. Is he going to make a dive down the inside? He is not just yet. But he does. He sticks it down the inside. Late move down the inside. He's going to hang on to it into turn 3. He squeezes Nathia Peterson out, and that has allowed that of Ken Gous down his inside. But he's got the outside line into the final corner, and that's going to allow Wimpy De Beer through. What a race between the three of them. So Ken was looking for a way past. Nathia was leading just now. He's now down to third with Ken around his outside. Absolute brilliant racing from all these drivers.
Yeah, Kian doing a little bit of rally crossing there as he went through into the final turn, almost on the outside on Thea Peterson. We can see there's AT&T and JB Axels, and we've got wide. Wimpy running a little bit wide there, but he's still gained onto Nathia. So I think,
I don't think Nathia had any idea that Wimpy was there after his grass-cutting excavate on the outside. Mate, go speak to Andre, the caretaker. He works here at Zwartkops. He'll give you a discount on grading the sand traps from there. But Nathia didn't know he was there and just turned in for turn 2 like he normally would. And that's unfortunately dropped Wimpy De Beer behind, believe it or not. Yassine Manuel moving up into 4th place just behind Nathia Peterson. But Nathia Peterson, just a lap ago, was leading this race. And he's now dropped all the way down to 3rd with a massive gap to catch on Ken Gous, with just over, I think, just 2 laps to go at the moment in this JP Hydraulics Polo Cup race.
40 seconds to go. We've got Tommy Leary that's running away with it now. 1.3 seconds. Now we set it in Div 1 as well. Take a guess how many laps Tommy Leary did this week, or practicing.
I have probably about 150 more than I did.
283 actual laps in practice, and that was without today's practices. So he deserves this first position. He knows every little bump and crack, and he actually knows the little, where the potholes are and where everything he can, last centimeter grip he can pull out of that car. But well done for him for running away with this one. Ken Gous, exceptional drive from this youngster. He's actually settled into 2nd, and I think he might take it. Nathia Peterson, some mistakes, but he fell back. Yassine Manuel is great into the 4th position. And then Wimpy, applaud this guy. First time out, he's doing exceptionally well. Ivan Karamarka did well. And look at Richie Slammert. He's just done Sean. Sean is out of fuel.
Oh,
Sean
that is
out of
the worst thing that can possibly happen. On the last lap. Leader with 1 lap to go and you've run out of fuel. That is absolutely terrible. Nice to see Jonah Lee though still circulating after her incident, as well as James Lee Senior, and unfortunately Johan Niemand in the pits. He's decided to wait this one out. He'll be back for the next one. But Tommy Leary is starting his last lap. It's all over bar the shouting. Currently 1.3 second lead. He's running very much the same lap times as Kian. No mistakes from Tommy Leary, and that'll see him cross the line as the winner of this race. No mistakes. Oh, he got very lucky there. He ran very wide, but then again, so did Kian. And that's allowed Nathia Peterson a little bit of hope with only half a lap to go, but I doubt any more mistakes will be coming that from Ken Gous although I might be just giving him the commentator's curse. And it's Tommy Leary out there with a massive gap with only half a lap to go. He exits turn 4 now. 3 more corners to do, and this race is all his.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure his mom is in the chat, and you'll see Karen Kotze will jump up and down with joy as she's actually got 2 kids racing here tonight. Tommy Leary, they should be our winner for tonight, and Joni Lee, that's her daughter as well. So brilliant to see the Moss family back in action and supporting each other. That's the way we like it. But Tommy Leary, as we see him going across and taking his first position, Keon Goosen second, Navier, well done in the GB car for taking his third. Yassine Manuel will finish in fourth, so that will be a 3 and 4 for the GB truck body scores. Wimpy de Beer, exceptional drive for him in fifth to get that one, and then Richie Slamet will bring it back down in I missed Ivan Karamarka in 6th, Richie Slamet in 7th, Michael Russ will take 8th, Warrick Stuart will bring him to 9. Shame, I feel sorry for him. He's really battling. The whole week we had to hear it, how he's battling with this weight of this car. But he's taking as a man and saying that he's got to win it. He's got to win it. So nice to see him out. And then Joni Lee and Sean James Lee Senior, that's in the pits, and Johan Niemann. So yeah, what a race for Div 2. No contact, clean racing.
I'm going to call Sean Pick and Pay because he's no name. So Sean's new nickname from me is Pick and Pay because he's no name. Great racing from all these drivers. Tommy Leary doing a great job to move himself up from 3rd into 1st. It was quite a bit of interesting racing from them for a couple of laps. It was nice to watch, and it gave us a little bit of exciting, clean racing and no contact. I hope some of the Div 1 guys are watching. They could take a page out of these guys' book. But a great racing. Definitely my pick of the litter was Yazine Manuel moving up into that 4th place. But my biggest loser was Wimpy de Beer. Unfortunately, not the last man standing, as we have a look at the bonnet of his car saying lastmanstands.com. Great cricket league that. I used to play a bit of that myself. But unfortunately, he wasn't the last man standing, and he dropped down to 5th place. But great racing all around from all these drivers. And it was an absolute joy to watch.
Sean, with us, Sean, good evening.
I ran out of petrol. Can you believe it?
We saw that. We had to call you in, and we need to clear something out with you, Sean. Sean's first name or last name?
First name.
First name. Your surname?
Is Weber.
Well, welcome, Sean Weber, with us at Sim Racing Africa. And yeah, unfortunate for running a little bit out of petrol. I think we shouldn't make that mistake again.
I definitely won't.
But anyway, we just wanted to clear your name out. All the best for your race too, Sean. You guys are doing exceptionally well. Enjoy it, my bud.
Thank you. Look forward to it.
Sorry, that's it. So yeah, we just had to clear him out. So that is Sean Weber, one of our newer racers that's just joined us out as well. So yeah, really nice to see him also there, and these guys getting in there and supporting it. So yeah, lacquer. What can you say?
Yeah, he's still going to be known as Sean Pick and Pay Weber to me for the remainder of the series. Unfortunately, that's just unfortunately how it is. I must apologize in advance. But Sean Pick and Pay Weber, great job from him as a newbie. He did very well there. Unfortunately, he was involved in that incident with Warrick Stuart and Yazzie Manuel. But he was right up there. It was nice to see. Nice splits of drivers as well throughout the field. A little bit of change of pace. But the front four definitely the ones to watch here in race 2. They're going to be coming from the back. It's reverse grid. Top 8 swap out. So it'll add some interesting racing, some interesting contrast to the racing, and hopefully we'll see them come through the field with no contact, or maybe just see a new winner for race 2 than we didn't think we were going to see.
Perfect, but let's quickly go and have a look at what JP Hydraulics is doing for us now. Right, then we're back here. Race 2 is about to start, 20 odd seconds to go. And then, we will have obviously reverse order for this race, which Carl will put Mr. Michael Rust into first position. And remember, when you give this guy a little bit of gas, he is taking it. He's super fast off the pole. So Michael Rust from Namibia will take first. Our youngster and our birthday boy, Mr. Richie Slammer Jr., will make second off the track. So it will be a Namibia 1-2. Ivan Karamarka will take it in third. Wimpy de Beer in fourth. Yassine Manuel in fifth. Nadia Peterson in sixth. Keon Gous in seventh. And then Tommy Leary will start in eighth. And I think that will be a big battle between Tommy Leary and Warrick Stuart, to be honest with you. These guys do like to race each other.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see between Wimpy de Beer. We know Wimpy's got the pace to run in the front. We've got only 28 seconds to go before the start of this race. Wimpy qualifying on pole for race 1, unfortunately getting eaten up by the other drivers after making a few mistakes. So we know he's got pace. So I think turn 1 is going to be interesting. But are we going to see another move from Tommy Leary off the start, down the inside like he did in race 1, or attempted in race 1? It'll be interesting to see if he does that from 8th place as we get ready for the lights to go out. We have 4 lights, 5 lights, and 6 lights on a blazing, waiting for them to go out. They're about to drop. There they go. And it is Michael Rust away from pole position. Terrible start from Wimpy de Beer, but Michael Rust, a great jump. I think he left it. Whoa, big curb jump there from Richie Slabbert. His contact with Peters. What? Oh, contact everywhere. Half the field. This looks like a Polo Cup race from 4 or 5 years ago.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cars. But anyway, let's get our cars off the grid quickly. This is 10 cars that actually finished off, or had a huge contact in the corner 2. I don't even know who was involved and who was not involved, but anyway, Michael Rust is running away with this one. 2.5 second gap for him as he's going into corner 4. So what a start for Michael Rust. Second position, look at this. We've got JP Hydraulics VW Polo of Warrick Stuart that jumped from 10th to 2nd in 3 corners. Well, 2, so to speak.
He's about to drop down to 3rd here as Keon Gous gets the run on him into a turn 5. Is he going to make the move? Oh, Sean deep down on it as well. He's almost running into the back of Keon. He had to go deep to the inside to avoid contact. But Keon round the outside of Warrick. Warrick running very close to Sean Pick and Pay Weber. But it's Warrick Stuart down the inside of Sean at the moment. Is he going to get the run out? He's not with those 100 kilos in the car. So Warrick Stuart dropping down the order as Yassine Manuel looking for the inside into turn 1. I don't think she's going. Yeah, he's going to make a stick there, but it is still Warrick Stuart in 4th, just behind Sean Pick and Pay Weber. But Warrick under big pressure from that of Yassine Manuel and James Lee Sr. Great start from him up into 6th place. And Nathia Peterson, one of our front con runners in the previous race, caught up in that first lap incident all the way down in 7th. And I think the biggest loser there was Tommy Leary. He's all the way down in 9th.
Yeah, Tommy Leary is a huge loss there. It's a pity we didn't have the replays on so we could have seen what actually happened there. But I think there was contact between, if I'm not mistaken, it was about Wimpy and them that had a bit of that was knocked from the back. So, yeah, Richie Slammert, I think, was one of our biggest losers. Because between Tommy Leary and, Richie Slammert started 2nd and he's sitting in 12th. So, unfortunately for him, Wimpy in 13th, Ivan and Tommy Leary, that was unfortunate for them. But Michael Rust is now making an exceptional drive in the GB Truck Bodies VW Polo, sponsored by AT&T Tyres as well. I see it there. Keon Gous is making his 2nd, and I think his dad is standing behind him. I bet you Melvin has had a couple of claps against that head of his son and saying, "Hey, stay out of the way, stay out of the way." Keon
Gous is doing 111.3s versus Michael Rust 113. So Keon is closing that gap very quickly. But I must say, unfortunately, Richard Slammert, to me, or Slammert, looked like the catalyst in that incident. Not on purpose. He just grabbed a little bit too much curb going into that of turn 1, and that shot him across the front end of the entire field. And there was just an absolute bottleneck coming out of turn 1, and that caused all the contacts. And unfortunately, it took out a lot of front runners that we would expect to see chasing for the lead of this second heat. But he is making his way back up. He's all over the back of Karamaker. He's trying to find his way past Johan Niemand. And Jonah Lee doing well to keep these fast-charging drivers behind her. But she has just lost a place to that of, I think it's Niemand. has managed to find his way past into turn. Whoa, a lot of movement between all of them as they head up into turn 5. But having a look back at the front though, Gous, half a second off Michael Rust now. And although Michael Rust hit the push to pass on the way out of the blocks and got that incredible start, he is under pressure now for the lead of this race.
Yeah, big changes here between Nadia Peterson, Warrick Stuart, and James Lee Sr. As James leads has actually just taken Nadia Peterson as well. Warrick Stuart overtook him, and Nadia is slightly resilient running backwards. I wonder if he's got some big damage from that huge accident we saw. And so there might have been a little bit of unfortunateness that happened there. But, what are you going to say? One guy's gain is one guy's loss is another guy's gain.
Excuse me, sorry, I had to get a cough out there. Racing is getting a little bit too exciting. It's throwing away my voice here. But great racing throughout, as you say. And one man's loss is obviously another one's gain. But amazing to see all 13 drivers still in the grid from the start, are still on the grid and still racing. So nice to see, but James Lee Sr. all over the back of Yazine Manuel, and he might be moving himself up into 4th place. But Michael Rust has just lost the lead to Gous. Gous running wide, and Sean Pick and Pay Weber is up there to pick up the pieces should anything go wrong. But Gous deep right on the outside into turn 1. Is he going to run out of road? He's still got enough road, and poor Michael Rust trying his utmost to hang on to that lead, but it looks like he's finally lost it. As I say that though, Gous forgetting what the brake pedal is, there's big contact between Sean Weber and Michael Rust on the exit of turn 2, and this battle is going to continue down to turn 4, and this has allowed Yazim Manuel and James Lee Sr. within sniffing distance of a possible lead here.
Yeah, I think Gous should take this race. I mean, just if you base it on the fact that he's got 5 push to passes to go, and if he can get about a second or half a second per lap, and on 5, he should get himself in 2 seconds at least on the lead. Okay, Michael Rust got 4 as well, but this is going to turn out for a big battle. Sean has got 5 left as well, and then Yasin has got 3. So there's definitely between the top 3 of guys that can use those push to passes and still remain in the battle. But we can see the huge fight here between Michael Rust and Sean that's brewing now. Mr. Sean Weber, as we spoke to him earlier, he's not backing off, and he's doing exceptionally well in this VW Polo.
Yeah, someone that is also going to be a bit of a dark horse is Sean Weber there. I never knew Weber made gas a prize, because at the moment he's cooking with gas. He's got 6 push to pass still to go, and he's just he's only just behind Michael Rust. As we look at Michael Rust, 1 wide into turn 2. Sean, now would be a good time to hit that push to pass button, mate, and you can make that move stick up into contact between them again as they head through turn 3. But Sean Weber, I think, has forgotten all about the push to pass button, because he's still got all the 6 of his, and he's moved himself up into 2nd place just behind Gous. Gous, though, first time in the lead of any race that I've seen, and he's making mistakes aplenty, so we might see Sean Weber move himself up into the lead very, very soon if Kian carries on with this making as many mistakes as he is. The gap is now only down to Paul. Michael Rust deep, way too late to the brakes. He makes contact with Sean. He actually helps Sean get onto the back of Kian, and unfortunately he loses 1, possibly 2 places there from just out-braking himself into turn 5. It is easy to do up there. It is a blind crest, so it's difficult to pick your braking marker. As we have a look at the front, it's Sean Weber down the inside of Gous for the lead of this race. Use the push to pass, mate. You got 6 of them. You can get past into turn 1. They're side by side through turn 1 now. Sean taking a lot of curb that could have ended in tears, but he's managed to keep himself together. And while these two are battling it out, here comes Yazine Manuel down the inside. Thinks better of it, though. Doesn't want to make the contact and lose the places to Michael Rust. But Michael Rust under pressure from 1, 2, 3 cars. It's turning into an absolute humdinger here.
Yeah, big battle also between James Lee Sr., Michael Rust, Sean Warrick Stuart, and Nadia Peterson. This is actually 7 minutes to go. I think we might get a battle for 3rd or 4th bring very soon. Oh, look at this. Yasin Manuel running super wide there into turn 4. But Sean is now putting pressure onto Keon, and I think Keon should just get it through. He's got the push to pass, it's still in his bag, and he's just got to keep it calm and keep it clean, and he should survive it. Sean almost running 2 wheels through turn 5 as he's getting that Polo right onto his side. And then, yeah, let's see in the back. I don't know if there's big fights here. Richie Slammer's chasing down Johnny Lee. Ivan Karamarcus on his ride of his own. VW has break. I mean, he's back onto 10th from 13th. So that's a good ride for him. Johan Niemann, Tommy Leary is an 8. And there's he off. Hey there.
Sean Webber all over the back of Ken Gous again into turn 2. This is really looking like a serious Michael Rust all the way down to 8th place. Something must have happened there.
Michael ran very wide there as he went into the final turn, and that just allowed everybody else to come past him as he was doing a little bit of rally cross. Like you said, he'll knock onto Andre's door later on and just go say, where's my incentives, or give me a free track day.
I cut your grass for you. Help me out here, mate.
Practice session.
This battle, I mean, you did say Ken Gous should go away with this one, but Sean Webber. So, can someone who knows Sean just send him a quick WhatsApp and let him know that he does have a button for push to pass, because he's still running with 6. And this battle is still raging. And look who's come to join the party. It's James Lee Sr. and Yassim Manuel. This is going to turn into a 4-way battle if Ken doesn't get his head down, stop making mistakes, and do those lap times we know he can do and get away.
Yeah, we've got James Lee Sr. with 4 push-to passes to go. Yassin Manuel only with 2 as he was running a bit wide there. But, you know, we saw it last week with Nati as well. That happened is these new drivers jump into the Polos, put some effort into practice. And remember, in practice and quali, you don't have push-to-pass. So they never map their buttons. They come into race day and they actually don't have the button map. So it could be the same case. But if that is, he's doing superbly well without push-to-passes.
Yeah, Nati, one of the Squadra Corsa drivers. He's under the wing of a very well-known VW driver of Keegan Masters. So, and the Squadra Corsa program, they did very well in the previous karting sim event we held during lockdown. But Nati, a strong driver from that camp and moving up into Div 1. But Sean Webber making a real big moves here as a newcomer in the field. Up to second place in Div 2, but unfortunately making a couple of mistakes there. That's allowed Nazim Manuel, or drop Nazim Manuel right into the clutches of James Sr. But James Sr. unfortunately, James E. Sr. unfortunately not able to do anything there to get past. And that mistake of Sean has dropped him 1.2 seconds away from Ken Gous. And it looks like Ken may just be able to run away with this. He has used a push to pass to get that gap, but he is running almost a second lap faster than those behind him. So if he can just keep it neat and tidy, he'll definitely take this race win from that of Sean Webber. But it's not all over for Sean at the moment. He's under big pressure from Yazim. He runs wide. Yazim's down the inside. Has he got enough to get it down from turn 2 to turn 3? He's only got one more push to pass left. 3 minutes to go in this race. He'd be silly to use it now. So let's see what happens up into turn 4. He slots back behind that of Sean Webber and decides against the pass. But mistakes are plenty for all these drivers. But it is creating some great racing for us to watch there, Sean.
We could actually see there, as I went through the turn, you can see Sean just coasting it through, and Yassine was actually tapping the brakes, and I think that was why the 0.3 of a second just occurred again. So it's just the one guy using his momentum, and Sean is just keeping it up. But look at this now, Yassine running again a little bit wide, and James Leach is just sitting on the back there prowling, and I think he's going to capitalize if these guys can't stop anything. We haven't had so much action with 2 or 3 minutes to go in a race since we had tonight, because this has been exceptional race, except the start. The finish started out to be a brilliant race. Look at the battle here. Warrick Stuart is now under big pressure from Tommy Leary. He's fought his way all the way back to 6th position. So him, Nadia Peterson and Stuart and Warrick Stuart is now having a huge battle. Look at this, Nadia, Yassine and Sean at it again.
Yeah, you see, made a full zen moment down into turn 2 there. Got the move done on Sean, but Sean got the drive out. That brought James Lee Sr. right into the slipstream. And Yassine Manuel thought he had the move done there, but has dropped back down to 3rd place. But we got to talk about Warrick Stuart for a moment. The man is basically driving around with me sitting in this passenger seat, 100 kilograms of ballast. Oh, I just gave my weight away on air. But 100 kilograms of ballast there for Warrick. He's doing an exceptional job there in 5th place. But this dice for 2nd place is far from over, as Yassine Manuel has another look down the inside, and Sean just simply drives right around the outside. While all this is going on, Tommy Leary has caught right up onto the back of this battle, and could be looking to move himself back onto the podium with only 1 minute and 40 seconds left to go. So we've got about 3 or 4 laps of racing left to go here in Division 2. Guys, Gous is still in the front. We do know he's there. He's just not involved in any fighting, so we haven't been looking at him. But the Coastal Auction Polo Cup is well out in the front there as we see Sean run wide again out of turn 1. And Yazim Manuel uses that opportunity to stick it down the inside, overcooks it horribly, and everybody else doing a bit of rallycross behind them. But look who's behind Tommy Leary. It's Thea Peterson, one of our other front runners, also moving himself up into this pack.
Yeah, no, this is definitely a big battle for the end here. I'm just thinking now, and I looked at this. Sean is still sitting with 6 push to passes left. He is running, so to speak, in second position, which is almost the first position in this battle. And he's either running low on fuel, because he's just so fast. These guys are in the corner, they overtake him, the back bumper to his front bumper, and he just comes past them looking for parking. So he is just a superbly very good driver, and I think he should find himself into Div 1 very soon, Carl, and he's going to start battling you guys up in Div 1. We only got 2 races to go in the VW Polo Cup, and that will be our season. But now, 22 seconds to go. Gous, this guy is so far ahead of the pack, I think he's even in a different country.
Yeah, no, he's looking in the rearview mirror just to see how cool his helmet looks. He's not using it to see who's behind him at the moment. He's got such a massive gap on the rest of the field. And we thought we were going to be seeing a battle here for second place. But Sean put the hammer down, giving himself some gap. And he's definitely going to be looking at a very strong contender for second place, bar any mistakes. I'm not going to speak too soon because we've seen plenty of mistakes from all these drivers. But James Lee Sr. is still doing well to hang on to 4th place. Tommy Leary, where are you going, mate? Massive dive down the inside of Warrick Stuart, and he goes off the track. And that has allowed Thea Peterson to go past him. But Tommy Leary, after all that hard work, buddy, and he's dropped himself all the way down to 7th. So obviously struggling to get past Warrick Stuart there, and went for the full send moment, and it sent him off the track. But if you have a look at the 4th place, it's James Lee Sr. putting Yazim Manuel under a lot of pressure for that final podium position.
Tommy Leary, I think it was just thinking, it's his last move he can make. He's got to either make it and make it stick or make it and fall off. And unfortunately, the latter was the case. But Tommy, still a brilliant drive. The drive in first position in race 1 was exceptional from him. But you've got Ivan Karamarka. Look at this. Johan Niemann still sitting with like 7 push to passes. He hasn't used anything as well. So it's a pity that he's running in the back. But you've got to give it. Warrick Stuart, JP Hydraulics, VW Polo. Look at him. He's sitting in 5th position. He started off in 11th position. And he's into 5th with 100 kgs and he's still running. So I think he should finish here. As we can see, the leaders should come over the pack now into race turn 5 is Gous, and he should come over the race line now and take this, unless he makes a very silly mistake, which his dad will slap him on the
we all have dads like that. Coastal Auctions Polo Cup car. What? He's hooking the handbrake. He's hooking the handbrake. That is disrespectful, my friend. Disrespectful. Throwing the handbrake, flashing the lights. Gous is going to come across in his Coastal Auction Polo Cup. Take the win here of Division 2 in Race 2 of the JP Hydraulics Polo Cup race with Sean Pick and Pay Weber in 2nd, ahead of Yasim. Didn't read the manual in 3rd. James Lee Sr. is going to take 4th place, and behind that, Warrick Stuart with 100 kilos ballast. Tommy Leary will eventually finish in 6th, ahead of Thea Peterson, and in 8th will be Johan Niemann, followed by the very unfortunate Wimpy de Beer. Ivan Karamaker will take a 10th ahead of the catalyst to that turn 1 incident. Very unfortunate for him. Richard Slammett Jr. and Jonah Lee still finishing the race after a great battle with the majority of the field after turn 1. Jonah Lee, and behind that, unfortunately, in 13th is Michael Rust. But what racing was that from Division 2? Great clean racing from them, and I was pleasantly surprised. Pleasantly surprised. They drove so well, I can't even speak English.
Oh no, it was a good race. Except at start we said, but what a finish at the end of the day. Gous, exceptional drive from him. Also a new driver, like we mentioned. Sean, brilliant drive. I think we've got to give this guy a big hats off for there, and well done to Team Leach Racing as well for finishing there in second and getting actually a fourth position. So brilliant drive from them. And then we've got Yassine Manuel in the GB Truck Bodies car, Nadia Peterson, and we had Tony Russ. So that was 3 for that team. And then who else we had in a team here tonight? Oh, Last Man Stands. We had the James Leach as well. So, and Richie Slammert, sorry, from Orange Freight Services. So at the end of the day, brilliant racing from everybody. And, Carl, action-packed right from turn 1 to the end.
Yeah, it was very interesting to watch. I was absolutely blown away by the type of racing that was going on. Very clean. A lot of mistakes throughout, but everybody managed to stay off each other and keep themselves on circuit. Bar a little bit of a touch and go into turn 1. But we do expect that here at Zwartkops, especially if you intend to clip that inside curb a little bit too hard. It will spit you into the rest of the field. But it wasn't Richard Slam's fault. He just turned in a little bit early. But great racing other than that. And nice to see all these skins on these cars and the amount of work these guys have put in, and the amount of practice, like you say, 250 odd laps for Leary, but unfortunately didn't quite work out in his favor after all those incidents into turn 1.
Oh no, unfortunately for him, but action-packed race. We will be back on this Sunday with our British Touring Cars second last race also for us in this season, and it's going to be a nail biter. The season is still very open. The top runners, Carl, yourself is included there, is right onto it, and it's not a you can't call the season yet. And then 2 weeks from there, we're back with our VW Polo Cup, and we shall be doing Tony Rust in a clockwise motion. So it's going to be really interested to see that one as well being done in the virtual world. And remember from last time, it is quite a nice track as well. So Carl, thanks for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it, and thanks for calling, or let me call on your button or push your button the last minute and say join me, buddy. I appreciate it.
No, my absolute pleasure. Always great to be involved with SRA. You guys are doing a great job, and I'm looking forward to our British Touring Car Championship next week Sunday. It's going to be an interesting one. 2 races left to go, but anytime you need me, just give me a shout, and I'll be here for some more great SRA action, especially for the JP Hydraulics Polo Cup.
Perfect. But we appreciate it, and guys, everybody at home, guys, keep it safe, keep it out. We'll see you guys soon, and enjoy it. Summer is here. I think our weather is definitely changing, and we can start enjoying life again. So from us here at SRA Sim, thanks for everything. Good evening, good night, and see you guys soon. Just bye-bye.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.